Hey, welcome back. This is Victor from Vibing with Victor, and today we're doing a little bit of chat and magic. Everyone loves it. I know I do. So yeah, let's kind of get into it. So chat and magic, we talk about my magic cards, and we do some sorting from my magic cards. Let's make sure we have sound, and then I just want to thank you for being here because I got a new deck to show you. All right, we got sounds. I got a new deck that I was working on, and let's go straight into my architect and see if I can show you. So, if you want to follow along at home or you have questions on my decks, I do have a link to them on my description, and that is it's all in my architect, and I have them posted. But I just built a new deck and I'll go into that after we do some card sorting, before we do some card sorting. But I want to welcome anyone who's showing up. So we're going to go straight into it. I built a new deck and I wanted to share it with you. Obviously, if you've been following along, I name my cards after bands, and this is Creed because Creed's a little different. I thought Creed was pretty fun, but this guy had he kind of had open arms, and he kind of reminded me of um, the singer from Creed. But I just wanted to actually name him Creed. So this is Creed, and what this is a BS kind of landfall deck, and it's kind of fun. Because I'll go into it real quick, but this is a oops all creatures basically, and my my pod hasn't seen this one yet, but I'm going to actually be playing this later today. So if my pod's actually watching, I want to say, unfortunately, this is coming your way today. But what this is a Chilean Teller of Tales deck. And what this is, let me pull it out, but I do have it here. But I just built this one. It's a Chilean Teller of Tales. And I even found a an actual sleeve that looks like him in my random sleeves. But what it says is Chilean Teller of Tales for 2, and then Bant, so green, white, blue. You have a legendary creature, human druid. Vigilance, whenever you cast a creature card, draw a card. And then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. It doesn't say tapped, just so you know. So this is a big deal. And then also for 3 and a tap, so 3 and then you tap this, you return target creature you control to its owner hands. So I've been playing around with it a little bit, and originally what I was thinking with this was like, hey, this is like a mana dork basically. This is a way to ramp in the mid game, very, very fast and very aggressive. And what I originally went with this is like, I'm going to have flyers, and they're going to be bigger flyers, and they're just going to be beat down. So I was like, originally I leaned towards going into angels with that. But then what I came to find out was like, even all the angels weren't enough with this. But so we kind of went flying primarily. And then I'm also thinking about making this going into like almost like a mana dork kind of thing. Or if I play a lot of little cards, I can draw out my whole deck and win with a Lab Maniac. But this is specifically what I'm trying to do with this, is I'm not trying to make this a high level deck. I want to make this like my more of mid-range deck that I can play against someone who's playing 2 or 3, just so you have an idea. So let's go into the ye old deck play tester so you have an idea of what we're playing with. So I go into here. Let's make it bigger first. And I have a bounce land and a land. And then I also have a growth here. Grow from the ashes. Let's mulligan this. All right, so we have a land, a spelunking, and then another one. Let's mulligan that again. All right, here we go. I want this one. So we're going to get rid of the Let's get rid of the Flare of Fortitude. Okay, so we're going to start this. Watch this. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to draw a card. Okay, that's pretty easy, right? And then we're going to play a land. And actually, we'll play this tap land. And then we're going to draw another card. And you can see we have a lot of land in here. There's a lot of land in this deck. And again, it's a Shalane Teller of Tales. I've been playing around with the playtester with this. I probably goldfish this about 8 or 10 times so far. So I got an idea what it's doing. But we're going to play another land, and then we'll just play again. And then we're going to tap this. We can't really do anything with it, but we're going to have this one come in tapped. And then with that green, we're going to do this, and we're going to tutor for a legendary creature. And I want to tutor for, and this is where it gets kind of fun, is because I have a couple of different creatures in here that are the tutor targets. We're going to tutor either for Sigarda, the Fount of Blessings, or, and it has to be a legendary creature, we can tutor for Tavyava, the Bentic Druid. We're actually going to tutor for Sigarda. And again, we're just going to move this to the hand. And we are at 5. And we haven't done really any accelerating yet. All right, we're going to play a land. And then, actually, we'll have this one come in. But it's just a ton of land in here. And then, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to play this guy here. And then with this, we're going to have this one come in. And they're almost all coming in untapped except the bounce lands. And then we're going to play Shalane. And now we're in the groove here. Because we got a good base. We have some creatures to cast. And then at the same time, we also have a decent land base. But this is where it starts getting fun. Because Shalane Teller of Tales says whenever we cast a creature spell, cast, not ETB, cast, we can cheat a land from our hand onto the battlefield. And this is specifically why I built this deck in this way. It's a little bit different. So we're going to first play a land, okay? And then we're going to play a little Mana Dork for 1. On cast, hasn't come in yet. We're going to draw a card, and then we are going to put a card, a land, onto the battlefield. And this one comes in tapped because specifically it did a check and it does a tapped. So actually we'll have this one come in. It comes in untapped. Then this guy ETBs. Okay, so now we're accelerating even more. And this is a little bit where it gets a little bit out of control here because it starts coming along. But what we're going to do is we're now going to play our little cheat thing that we just brought. We tutored for this earlier. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to play Sigarda, Font of Blessing. And then on cast, again, this is a cast trigger. We're going to draw a card. And then we get to cheat a land onto the battlefield. Great, right? So I've been playing this. And I keep on getting into an issue when I'm playing this deck. And this is like not playing against other people, but this is playing on the playtester. I'm like, what do I do with all this land? I have all this land and I have nothing to do with it. So one thing that I put in here is I put a little bit of mana sinks in here. And then what I'm also thinking about doing is moving this into like a very small deck. Like it's all small creatures deck. And then I just churn through my deck really, really quickly. And then I win with a Lab Maniac or something like that. So that's for the actual win con. But like specifically what I'm trying to do in this is I'm just trying to see if I can do this. So now I can play from the top of my... I can play from the top here. So I get to look at this anytime I want now. So now I know what's coming. And on top of that, I can play anything that's an angel or a human off the top of my library. And all my permanents are hexproof. So that's like one way of doing it. We'll do a quick little playthrough. We'll do another. But that's just going to turn 5, and we're in a pretty good position at that point. But like, we're just going to do a mulligan on this one. Again, we don't have any lands in this one. It's surprising we have 38 lands in this deck. I was very surprised we didn't get a single land in any of that. So we'll put this one on the bottom. We'll keep. This is actually the one that we've had the most amount of lands in it. So we'll take a draw. And again, we're just going to get this started. So we're going to do 1, and then we'll tap it, and we'll do a Land of War Elves. We take 1 damage for that. And now after we do this playtest, we're going to get into my actual cards, just so you know. But then next turn, we're just going to play, we'll just do the tap land. We'll return this one to hand. We'll tap it. Maybe. Nope, we won't. Yeah, we tap it for 1. We float the 1. And then float the 1. We lose a life. And then we play this, and then we get a peek at the top 4. And now we're going to set it up, and we want our Sarah Ascendant to come in next. So we just kind of peeked it real quick. And then we'll just begin the next turn. We're going to play that land again. We're not going to play the Sarah Ascendant yet because everyone freaks out whenever we play it. And then we'll just move to the next turn, and we'll play this. And now we have enough on turn 3 to play Shalane, Teller of Tales. And this is a deck I just built, so I'm just going into it a little bit because I'm very excited to actually play this against my pod tonight. But if you're joining me, I usually go through on Tuesdays and I talk about my Magic cards, and I'm just showing you a deck that I built real quick. So, and again, Shalane, I think that's how you say it. Teller of Tales says whenever you cast, again, it says cast a creature spell, draw a card, and then you can cheat a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So we just cast that, and now we're just going to pass our turn. And what we're going to start doing is just start getting some work in. So we'll get a land onto the battlefield, and then we're going to cast our Sarah Ascendant for 1. Again, it's a cast trigger, so I'll put it over here. Cast, we draw, and then we can put a land onto the battlefield for free. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So we cast that, we made that guy. Actually, we'll have this one come in so we can sequence this a little bit better. So our Ascendant, because we're at plus 30, the Sarah Ascendant, it's broken in Commander. As long as you have 30 or more life, Sarah Ascendant enters. Sarah Ascendant gets +5/+5 and has flying has flying. Okay, and then you tap 1, 2, 3. You lose another life. And then we're going to do the Fireman Commando, and we're going to draw a card, and then we're going to put a land onto the battlefield again. And then we'll just pass the turn, or we swing in for a hit. Now where we're at here is we're beginning turn 5. We have 6 lands on the battlefield. One of them is a bounce land, so it actually taps for 7, and then we have a Land of War Elves. So we are way ahead at this point, and now we start cooking. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap, let me see, this blue. Well, first we'll make a land drop. Tap this blue. We'll do the Fairy Imposter. Again, this is a cast trigger. Okay, so we draw a card, and then we're going to play the card. And this is a cast trigger. And then we're going to return this guy to our hands. So now the Fairy Imposter is in. We just return this guy to our hands, and now we can start digging through our deck. And again, now we start having a little bit of fun because now we play the Sage Owl again. We get a cast trigger, and again we draw, and then we can play a land onto the battlefield. And then on ETB, we get to peek at the top 4 again. And let's have the Guardian of Faith go next. Okay. And then, so now we're way ahead here. And again, this is turn 5. Okay. But then we go 1, 2, 3. This one taps for 3, 4, 5. And we're going to play Railway Brawler. And now we're cooking with gas. On cast, we draw a card. We know it's the Guardian of Faith. We have no more lands in hand to actually put onto the battlefield. And now we're kind of protected because we have 1, 2, and 3, and we have the Guardian of Faith. And again, this is pretty good because we have 2 counters, but they're based on creatures. One will make us phase out any creatures that we have when they come in, or we can so like let's say we're protecting our board now from either a board wipe, or we can protect from spot removal or something like that with the Avian Interrupter. So this is why it's so synergistic, because it's an oops all creatures basically, and we're in such a very strong position to actually win the game, because like right here we're untapping now with 8, 9 lands out, and then also anything that comes in is going to come in with a plus, which is going to come in with counters based on its power also. So we're doing amazing, and like I said, that was turn 5. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of the new deck that I built, and then we're going to go straight into our cards that we've been sorting, and we're going to get back to the sorting, folks, because everyone loves the sorting. But we just went through my new Shalane deck that I just bought. I just built, and I just wanted to thank you for coming. So that was the Shalane deck. We just built that, and like I said, I just sleeved it all up, and it's pretty much ready to go. The issue I'm running into is it's a mid-range grinder, and I'm trying to figure out how to actually make this stuff connect and win. And that's where it really is. So if anyone has any tips on landfall, I'd love some tips, because I do not know how to do landfall very well. So let's open up our stuff here and let's get to it. I want to thank you for joining me. And again, this is Victor from Vibing with Victor, and we just took a quick moment to go over the deck I just built. So we took about 15 minutes to go into that. And now let's actually get into our cards. So thanks for hanging out, and let me get this thing rolling. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, let's post the Discord. And again, if anyone wants to check out my decks that I build, I put them in my description in my Architect. So let's go over some stuff here that I got to sort, as I'm preparing a cell box right now. And on top of that, I'm putting aside some cards right now for a kid, because I have too many cards, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and her kid is into Magic. So I was like, hey, I could do you a solid, and I can get some cards for him. So I don't know the level of how good this kid is, but he's rough. I think he's 12. So we're going to go through here, and we're going to try to find some cards also for him. So looks like I got some red cards right off the bat here, and let's get into it. Where are we here? I kind of don't. Do I want to start with this box? Yeah, let's start with this box. Let's see what we got. So I got a lot of cards, and we've just been sorting them slowly and slowly and slowly. I put aside a whole lot of colorless, because I was going to make a colorless deck. But I have decided I'm going to hold off on the colorless deck for now, and because I've just been building this other deck that I just showed you. The next deck that I'm going to be building, it's actually over here in this box. And let me go over that real quick with you. But this deck is, it's not that card. That's Shelter. That's my favorite card. Shelter is not a very good instant, but I'm going to tell it. Target creature you control gains protection from color of your choice until end of turn. Draw a card. I like it for the art. It's pretty cool. Obviously, I have a foil version and a non-foil version, and it's 1 and a white, and it's great for protecting your cards. But I want to show you what I'm going to be building next. And what I'm going to be building next, because I've had some ideas, and I wanted to build a couple more decks before I tossed out most of my cards and gave them to other people or sell them to Card Kingdom, as I wanted to build 1 or 2 more decks so I had some mid-range stuff to play, because I felt like I was missing, sorry, I just dropped some cards here. I felt like I was missing stuff in the 3 to 4 range for the brackets, because I usually play in a really high 3 to a 4 range, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of missing a 2 or a 3, and my friend has been playing with a precon. It's the new Titus precon from Final Fantasy, and because he's been playing that, I don't want to play a higher level deck, so I've been building stuff that's in that range. But what I'm thinking about building next, and this is my next one here, Hinata, the Dawn Crown. And it's 1 and then Jeskai. So that's blue, red, white. Or, as you say in America, red, white, and blue. But it's flying, trample, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast for each target. Now, it's not the second part that I want it for, but it's the first part. Because I want to do things like this. I want to be able to cast a mass blink, and I've been thinking about moving my Amamatu blink deck into this deck. I want to cast a mass blink for 1, because exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control at the beginning of the next end step. Return them to the battlefield under its owner's control, and then obviously it says all the other caveats. But this would be reduced if I select at least 3 targets. This would reduce it by 3 to 1. So you can see the synergy that we got going on here. And you know me, I love synergy. If you've been watching me at all, I love synergy. And I kind of want to make it into a blink or a spell slinger deck. And I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to build it. But I got some cards set aside right now for it. And I've been looking at it because I'm just seeing little things like this that just will play off pretty nicely. So, like little things like this here too. Counter target spell. Okay. This is rewind for 2 and 2 blue. This is a 4 mana counter. But because if I have my commander out, it's reduced by 1, and then I get to untap up to 4 lands. I'm going to be mana positive with that. Another one here that I've been thinking about is maybe making it, since it's a spell slinger, into a copy. So whenever you cast or copy an instant spell, draw a card. And then I have more cost reducers here with the Mocking Sprite. Then you can do other things in here, which is just simple little things. But like, run away together. This is a 1 mana spell if my creature's out. That's not bad at all. So I've been looking at this, trying to figure this out, and I think the main win con would make it into like a board wipe type of thing. Because one thing you can do with this, let me see if I can find my really nice binder here. But in my binder, I have this. And that is, let's see if we can get to it, the March of Swirling Mists. And what this does is, as an additional cost of the spell, you may exile any number of blue cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less for each to cost for each card exiled this way. Well, it's a blue in XXX. Exile up to X target creatures phase out. Up to target X creatures phase out. Now this is what I can use this. I can use this offensively too. But what I was thinking about doing is I use this in conjunction with a like a containment priest or something like that, and I phase out everyone's tournaments, and I can do this for 1 if my commander's out, because I can phase out any number I want, so it's reduced by each target, so I'm paying for each target. And this kind of synergy right here is just disgusting. So if I play the Hinata and I have this out, and then I play the March of the Swirling Mists, I can target everyone's other's board, not targeting mine, for 1 blue mana and phase out all their creatures. It's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I don't think that talk about breaking parity, and I'm trying to figure out how I would actually do that. So this is the next one I'm building, and I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it, but this is Hinata, the Dawn Crown. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what I'm working on in the background, because I love tinkering with these little things. It's kind of fun because, like, even like this one, Mystic Confluence here, this one's interesting. Mystic Confluence, I can pay all 3 modes and make this a 2 mana counterspell. So I can say, hey, you can choose the same mode more than once. What I can do is, like, I can return 3 creatures to its owner's hand for 2 mana, or I can draw I can do like 2 of those and counter a spell, and it's only 2 mana. So talk about like getting way ahead on that kind of thing. So I just wanted to take a quick moment and actually talk about that, because this is the other deck that we're looking for while we're sorting through our Magic cards right now. And like I said, also what we're also looking for is anything that we can put in our Chilean deck, or anything that we can also put in our new let me find it real quick. Where is that deck? It's this one. Where is it? It's this one. This is my other one. And this one is a Una deck. And what we're trying to do with the Una deck, and let me move you over to our screen here so we can show you. Let's go to the big screen. With the Una deck, what we're trying to do, and again, this isn't only deck text that we do, but we just hang out and we chat about Magic. So that's what we're doing. This one's called Cover Band. And Cover Band, what we're trying to do is we're using other people's resources to progress our game plan. And then at the same time, we want to like stabilize for the longest amount of time. And then we are going to get infinite mana, and then we're going to exile everyone's library. So what we do is we play Una as a payoff, because what we're going to do is we're going to try to find either our, let's see if I can find it real quick. We're trying to find our Peregrine Drake, or we're going to find our Hull Breacher Horror. And with that, we can start abusing things and making infinite mana. Because when we get the infinite mana cycle going, then we're going to be able to pay off. Oh, here we go. The Deadeye Navigator. Okay, so what it looks like, and let me go through this real quick for you. Let's go in here. If we get the Peregrine Drake, okay? We have the Peregrine Drake out, which is for 4 in a blue. It's flying. When it enters the battlefield, untap up to 5 lands. This becomes mana neutral, okay? So this, we play this, it comes in, we play it for 5, and then we untap 5 lands, and then it's mana neutral. But if we can connect it to the Deadeye Navigator, then we have infinite mana. Because for 2, we can keep on blinking the Peregrine Drake, and then it's going to be a net positive of 3 mana of any color. Now the payoff, though, because our commander doesn't have to be in it doesn't have to be anywhere. It doesn't have to be on the field yet or anything. But then we do that as many times as we want. And let's just say, hey, I'm demonstrating the loop. I am going to blink the Peregrine Drake, float 3 mana, and then I'm going to untap all this again, and then I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to float 3 mana, and then you say, hey, I've done this 300 times. Then what you do is you say, floating all that mana, I'm going to play Una, the Queen of the Fae. And that's for 3 Dimir. So and these are blue-black hybrids. So 3 Dimir. And what you do is, so you play this, and then you start putting that mana, and you exile all the cards from the other players' libraries. And then you just simply pass the turn. And you'll have like hundreds of fairies, and it's completely disgusting. But I've done it so far one time. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're also looking for, because we have a couple of new decks. We have the Shalane, Teller of Tales decks. We have an Una, Queen of the Fae deck. And then we are working on the Hinata, Dawn Crown deck, as well as the other ones that we have in our repertoire. So what I like to do when I do this is I just kind of have these open, and then I just put the cards that I want on top of the decks or in the box that I am looking at, and then I know if that's something I want to actually work on or not. Again, we're not sponsored or anything. We're just hanging out, and we're just playing around. So we got a land here. We'll put it over here. This is Port Town. Pretty decent. We're just kind of hanging out. We've got a Forgotten Ancient. Don't need that. I think this is the cut pile that I was working through here. Yeah, I think this is the cut pile. Okay, so we'll put the counterbalance in the Hinata. Put a Fellware Stone in the Hinata. We don't need any of this. Just have some Mind Stones, a pickaxe, Chaos Warp, an Emerald Medallion. I was thinking about putting that in my other deck, but I decided not to. Got a really nice Path to Exile here. One of my favorites, Angel of Invention. And this is for fly. It's for 3 generic and then white. And this is this is not a halo. But 3 white, and it's flying, vigilance, and lifelink with fabricate 2. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. So it's not a bad little one there. Paradise Mantle, this needs to go on the Una, but this is a free spell. This is a free artifact, and I need this out to start blinking it with the Soul Ring in the Una deck. So we'll put it over there. Then we have a bunch of angels that I cut from the new deck, the Shalane deck that I just built. But we have Sarah Redeemer. It's 3 white white, and it's flying, obviously, because it's an angel. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, put 2 on my side. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on that creature. So it's just an anthem. It's just adding static on that. I do like a lot of angels, and the Shalane deck has a lot of angel support in it. And then we have Angel Serenity, and this is a decent one too, because what I was thinking was, with the Angel Serenity, you it comes in, and it's for 4 white white white, and what you're doing is, for 4 white white white, it's an angel with flying. It comes in and it's going to exile 3 things of your choice, either from a graveyard, either from graveyards or the battlefield. And it can be someone else's thing, or it can be your thing. And then when this thing leaves the battlefield, it returns it to the creature, to the controller's hand. One of the things with Shalane, with the Shalane in my Creed deck, as I call it, is I need to recast creatures, especially those low mana creatures. So I can tap for 3, so I could pay 3 and tap, and I can return a creature to the from the battlefield to its owner's hand. Now, if I do it with this guy, not only do I get this guy back in my hand, but I get 3 other things back into my hand, and then I can start abusing the process. So it's a nice little payoff. And then we have Angel of the Ruins. I'm pretty sure everyone's already seen this one. It's a 5/7 beater. It's for 5, a white white. It's an artifact creature, and if you haven't seen this one before, it's pretty much it's pretty stably. But for flying, when it enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 artifacts or enchantments from the battlefield. So not bad at all. Return of the Wild Speaker. Draw cards equal to the greatest power you control non-human creatures, or you can give non-human creatures you control +3 until end of turn, and that's for 4 and a green. Got a Wayfarer's Bauble. Put that aside for the kid. We have an Unnatural Growth and Fade from History. Monologue Tax. This is this is what we call the fair Smothering Ties in my in my playgroup, because we don't like Smothering Tithe in my playgroup. But whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you create a treasure token. Other ones that are kind of cool, and obviously Tarkir came back with some dragon support. But this is Timeless Dragon. It's for 3 white white, and I have a lot of white creatures, and I have a lot of angels, and I like flyers. But flying, plane cycling, and Eternalize is just a big dragon with a bunch of different things you can do with it. White also has some counter spells, not a lot of them, but counter target spell with the Lapse of Certainty. With Lapse of Certainty, if that spell counter target spell, if it was countered this way, put it on top of the owner's library instead of into the graveyard. What I've done with this too is I've Lapse of Certainty people. I've Lapse of Certainty somebody's commander. They choose to put it on top, and then I force them to shuffle their library with like a demo field, and I give them a land. They have to go get it because they want it. They want to keep it. Elspeth. I have a ton of Elspeth cards. Maybe we'll go through that. I have Garruk's Uprising, a couple of Rest in Peace, Astronic Resonator. Pay 2, tap, copy target triggered ability you control. You choose new targets for the copy. Not bad at all. Stroke of Midnight. This is great removal. We'll put it over here in the Hinata Dawn Crowned deck. And then, let's see here. I need a Beast Within in this deck, so we'll put it over here. And then let's see here, what else we got. We got some Soul Sister stuff going on here. We have Dazzling Angel. It's for 2 and a white. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Not bad for a Soul Sister. And then also I was thinking about putting this one in this deck too, because I have a lot of blink right now. But this allows us to blink something. So it's not bad at all. And then we have some other stuff. Let's actually put this away and go through the cool stuff. So let's do that. Because you guys deserve to go through the cool stuff. All right. And again, this is just hanging out. This is just chat and magic. So thanks for hanging out with me. And this is Vibing with Victor. So let's go through our trade binder. Let's pull this back a little bit. Let's see if we can get into the trade binder or not. Let me move this. So I need to move this and put it in here for tonight because we're playing with the boys. And they don't know that I made a landfall deck. So I'm going to surprise them tonight. And they might be watching. I don't know. So I wanted to show you a couple of things in my trade binder. I have a full Captain America set here. This was actually a gift from a friend of mine, Nate. He said I can use his name on camera. But I also have a Liliana Standard Bearer up here, but that doesn't matter. But we have an Arcane Signet. This is a really nice Arcane Signet. And I actually pulled this one before, so it's kind of cool. And here, let me see if I can get it to look at it here real quick. But it's a halo and it's a signet, and it's just really, really cool. And then you have the Avengers stuff. You have the Shield of War and Peace, which is the Sword of War and Peace. You have In the Trenches, Flawless Maneuver, and Captain America. And then Sigarda's Aid and an Arcane Signet. Then over here, I actually just traded my Bad Romance, I think is what they called it. And that was the, I just traded that for this Lightning. But I just got Lightning. And I was thinking about building that, but I might get rid of it. Not sure, but Lightning is 1 and then Boros, so red and white. And what it is legendary creature, human soldier, first strike, trample, and lifelink. And it says stagger. Whenever lightning deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double that instead. That is just gross. So it's just like an ongoing effect. I have the Deadpool stuff here. I only got it for trades. I'm not a big Deadpool fan. Whenever I see it on spell table, I kill it immediately. And then I have a Mayhem Devil in here that's pretty cool. But I wanted to give you guys just a quick look at my trade binder. And this is a Mayhem Devil, and it's just a cool promo that they had. And then the bonus card that I got for the Deadpool was a Harmless Offering. And then obviously I didn't get the Blacker Lotus. I'm not a huge Secret Lair fan, but I've been getting them only for trades. And I've actually sat out the last couple of Secret Lairs because I don't want to be involved in them anymore. I've wasted too much time and money on that. But speaking of wasting time and money, here is the SpongeBob Secret Lair. And this token alone is $20. We have the Deadeye Navigator promo that you got for it. And then we have Night's Whisper, Force of Despair, Inevitable Betrayal, Counterspell. This is not the cool counterspell, but this is a counterspell for SpongeBob and Days, as well as a command tower. So then in the rest of the trade binder, we're just going to start going through it and taking a look at things. We're trying to find stuff that will synergize with our other stuff also. We have a couple of Smothering Ties, and Smothering Tithe is usually actually in a deck. I have a Void Winnower. It's upside down because it's not for trade. And then a Mana Echoes, a Song of Creation, and a Kami Whispering Hopes. Let me look at that real quick. That might go on something. If one or more counters put on a permanent you control, put that many +1 instead. Oh, and it's a mana dork too. Interesting. I got some black cards in here too. We have an Archfiend of Despair, Braids, a Nightmare, Arisen Nightmare. That's a promo, a Grave Pact. This Grave Pact is one of the alt arts also, but I just wanted to show you what I had because it's good to actually look through this stuff. I traded a couple of Grave Pacts. I had the anime one, and that was pretty cool. A Wound Reflection, a Chittering Skitter Spike. I have like 3 of these Tranquil Frillbacks. I think I'm going to put it in the Shalane deck that I just showed you guys earlier, but this one's all promoed out. It's pretty cool. And that's a Etch Foil. Colonian Hydra. Obviously, everyone always needs a Colonian Hydra. This is a red mana dork that I found that I didn't expect I'd run into. I never knew that this card existed, but Sisters of the Flame is for 1 red. Tap, add red to your mana pool. Play this ability as an interrupt. This is an older card. It was a 1995 card. I'm not exactly sure what set it's from, but I have 2 of them. I actually picked up 4 of them before, and I've been trading them slowly, and people kind of like it. It's a red mana dork, and you don't run into mana dorks in red very often. And then I have a Ball Lightning, which is a 3 red, trample haste, and it's a 6/1, and then at the beginning of end step you sacrifice this. So it's a great just hit someone in the face kind of card. This is like one of the things I've been putting together, but I have the 40k sets so far. I have the Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Mind Stone, and then basically almost everything else. I've been taking apart a 40k set. I have a Reaver Titan. Everyone's been seeing this all over online, but the Reaver Titan's pretty cool, obviously. Protection from mana value spells 3 or less. And then also when it attacks, it deals 5 damage to each opponent. Not bad. So Reaver Titan, we have a Knights Paladin, we have the Swords to Plowshares and the Thunderhawk. But all this is pretty cool. And then someone actually asked me if I'd trade this with them directly. But I'm trying to trade the whole set if I can. But it's Commissar, Serena Reen. And this is a decent one for, it looks like, basically a life gain and draw some cards. So someone wanted to build that one, and they asked me for that one directly. Then we have a little more of the Warhammer stuff over here. And then actually at the end here, I ran out of space and I need to move some things around. But I have a Magnus Klelgar. Obviously, if you've been looking at any CEDH, this guy is CEDH. He's in there. He's not as good as Tivit, but I'm building the Tivit deck right now. And I have a couple of the Magus Luca Canes also. And then I have more 40k in the back here because I just kind of ran out of space and I kind of put it in there. Let's go back into our Tarkir stuff. Not everyone's using the Tempest Hawk, and I have a couple other ones. I have a couple of Voice of Victories that aren't for trade at the moment because I'm using them in my CEDH deck. If you want to chat or anything like that, feel free to join me on chat. And usually I do streams for like Fable. I've been playing Fable, just so you know. But I am going through my Magic cards usually on Tuesday. I have an Elspeth Storm Slayer. This is a very cool foil, full art. And this is a token doubler stapled right on it. So that's a wonderful pull. I'm very happy about that. I have a Baitor, Kin to All. This one, I think it's like $40 right now. I'm not exactly sure. Let's take a quick look. I haven't checked the value of any of these in a while. But these ones, if they go on the binder, usually they're sentimental or they're worth something. So let's take a look. TCG player. Let's see. Usually they rip me off. We'll see here. How much is that? Let's go to the big screen. It was like, hey, you like Mill? You want to take a look at this mill card you were showing other people earlier. Borderless showcase borderless. Is this it? No, it's not that one. Baitor kin to all. Copy that. Paste it here. It's. Did these go down quite a bit? Oh, this is not the foil. This one's not the foil though. But yeah, I got one of those. So then let's see how much this Elspeth is. I haven't looked at that in a bit. Maybe I'm just holding on to these and I don't know. But they're cool cards, and I'd rather them not just stay in a binder. Stormslayer. Okay, let's see what we got here. It's Dragon Storm, Borderless. It's not the Halo foil. Oh my god, I would love that so much. This isn't the foil, I think. Yeah, this is not the foil. That's $30. Not bad. $32 for the foil. Okay, crazy. I gave my friend a Crater Hoof. Let's see how much that is. I gave him the Crater Hoof Halo foil showcase in Japanese. This one. I gave him this. His name's Nate. He said I can use his name. But I gave him this because like he gave me a ton of lands that I needed when I first started and a ton of cards. And I was like, what do you want for this? And he's like, just find me something shiny. And then this is like my shiniest pull. It was like $150 and it's in Japanese. It's just cool. And so I like mailed it to him. I was like, I wrote him a note and I said, hey, I finally found you something shiny. So that's the kind of stuff that I really like about the community, is you get to do stuff like that. And that's what we're kind of trying to do for the kid today. We're trying to find some cards that he might want. And hopefully we run into them, because if we don't, that's cool. We'll move this Colonian Hydra to the other one, because now I have two Colonian Hydras. All right, we have Reigning Victor. This is just a sentimental card. It just says Victor on it, and someone gave it to me. We have a Giada Fount of Hope. And this is a cool borderless card. If you're into angels like I am, I build angels once in a while. I just like it. They're big. They're big. They fly. They look cool. Have some. These specifically are for a deck. I'm trying to see if I'm going to put them into anything. Not the Boiling Sea. Destroy all islands. That's great. We'll actually put that in my Destroy Everything deck. Hold on. Put it over here, because I am a hater. I have a whole page here. I'm like, hey, do you want land destruction? Let me interest you in some land destruction. So we have some Shield, and then we have a little more Tarkir in here. We have a Bitter Blossom. I mean, everyone loves Bitter Blossom, but that's a cool full art that I have of it. I'm trying to see if my camera will select it or not. Hold on. But yeah, I'm not a huge collector. I just want to show you guys some of the stuff that I have, because I think it's kind of cool. I have some banned cards here. I was very excited when these got unbanned, but these are all banned, so they're upside down. I mean, if they want them, they can take them, but like, I put them in here. I'm like, hey, these are banned. This is my hate page, as I call it affectionately. This is some land destruction that I have. I have other ones, but I just haven't found them yet in my collection. But whenever I find Destroy Everything or Destroy All Lands, I put it on this page. I'm like, hey, can I interest you in mass land destruction? I was like, you might have seen my post that I put that in my community tab, but I think it's fun. People don't play it very often, but resource denial is a real strategy. We have Flash Fires, Destroy All Planes, Boil, Destroy All Islands, Boiling Sea, destroy all islands. This includes your islands. It does say that in the reminder text. My favorite, coercive portal. At the beginning of your upkeep, starting with you, each player votes for Carnage or Homage. If Carnage is more, destroy all non-land permanents. If the vote is tied or Homage wins, you just draw a card. So it's just this weird hostage card that I found. I'm like, this is amazing. It's a Will of a Council card. It's just like you play it and you're like, hey, so beginning of upkeep, who wants to give me a card? And you're like, I'm gonna vote to destroy everything. And then they're like, I'm gonna vote that you get a card, and I'm gonna vote to give you a card too. Then we have From the Ashes, destroy all non-basic lands. We have World Slayer. Everyone might have heard of this, but this is a fun one. You attach it to a creature, and when the equipped creature deals combat damage, destroy all permanents other than World Slayer. So that's like everything. Lands, everything's destroyed. I have a couple more that haven't made it in the binder yet, but I'm trying to find them. Armageddon and Catastrophe. Armageddon, obviously, that's the best one. It's a 3 and a white, and you destroy all lands. And Catastrophe, for 4 white, you choose to either destroy all creatures or you destroy all lands. Yeah, so Victor, you're a meanie. Why do you have that in there? I don't know. I was thinking about making a land destruction deck one time, but my play group tucked me out of it. Loyal Retainers, a Basalt Monolith, and an Avacyn, Archangel Avacyn. We have this March of the Swirling Mists. I'll pull this out later for the Hanada deck, but I haven't taken it out yet. And then I have a bunch of stuff in here that's related to Planeswalkers. So I wanted to put that Planeswalker in there, but we'll hold off on it for now. Door to Nothingness. I used to have a Ramos deck, and the Door to Nothingness was one of the win cons. It takes a while, but you can loop the Door to Nothingness, and you can just kill people with that. It was a bigger one. It was just a big dumb +1/+1 counters deck, and it was fun. But Ramos obviously is a 5-color deck. I can actually show you my Ramos deck if you guys want. I have a very damaged card. That's pretty cool, but it's a Chilothan Flute. Pay a certain amount of mana, tap, search your library for a creature card with the casting cost of that, and then put it into your hand. That's not bad at all. And then you shuffle. So it's a repeatable tutor. It's pretty fun. I have a bunch of other ones in here that haven't quite made it in here. An interesting one that I saw, I haven't quite figured out how to use it, but the Blood of the Martyr. For the remainder of the turn, you may redirect a damage done to any number of creatures to your stealth instead. Not exactly sure how to win with that, but I did see a YouTube about that. I have some Praetors, the Ginger Taxuses, a couple of Shieldreds, and then I have some Eldrazi's in here. So if people want to get really crazy, we can do that. We have some Narsets, Niv Mizzets, Lord of Atlantis, Bludgeoning and Exploration, as well as a Bolas Citadel, a couple more Sigardas, Angels of Hope, Metropolitus, Reformer, City on Fire, and another Frillback, and then another Tatiova. And then we're going to the whites. We have more on the white stuff over here. We have Necroma's Will and a couple of other cards. I haven't quite gone through it all and rebalanced for pricing, but I need to go through that again soon. We have a couple of other things in here. I have a Soul Ring from what is this? Doctor Who, and then I have some bobbleheads from the Fallout. So if anyone's looking for that, usually someone is running into me and wants that. And then I have a couple of other things in here that are kind of cool that I just pulled. But I thought they were kind of cool, and I just threw them in here for trades. So yeah, I love having a trade binder, and I recommend anyone to have a trade binder because it's just fun, nostalgic to kind of look through that, and then at the same time, it's just you never know what you're going to find in here. You have Mana Flare, that's a pretty fun one, and then you have Crackle with Power, which is a great one to use. Crackle with Power is amazing to use to close out a game. Then we have the Sanguine Bond, Exquisite Blood, Preacher of the Schism, a Gandalf, a Necropotence. Oh, and here's Ramos. Ooh, here's our boy Ramos. Here's one of my favorite decks. I took it apart. Ramos Dragon Engine for 6 mana, legendary artifact creature dragon, colorless. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos for each of the spell's colors. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters on it. Add double Wooburg. This ability triggers only once each turn. What I did, I just made this into a really stupid big X spell deck. And I just played X spells with that as finishers. But mostly it was just a fun big beater deck. Loved it. It was really fun. Here's one that I don't see a lot of, but this one's pretty fun. It's Nesting Dovehawk. And Nesting Dovehawk is a fun one here. Let's wait for the camera to select to it. Come on, camera. Let's do the camera. There we go. Waiting for the camera. Well, what it says, let me just read it to you. Nesting Dovehawk, flying bird for 3 and a white. Flying at the beginning of combat of your turn, populate. So what that does, populate, you can add a token of any type. Add a creature token of any type. And then whenever a creature token enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Nesting Dovehawk. I have a couple of these. I don't see them very often. They're pretty fun. They're kind of cool. Consecrated Sphinx, that's now a game changer, and Reconnaissance. And then I also have a Karn in here. So maybe I should move the Karn to the Eldrazi page because he fits more over there. I've been opening a lot of the Strixhaven collector's boosters, and they come with these alt art style. I cannot read Japanese, so I have to look these up to see what they are, but they're kind of cool. I do have, I think this is the Tainted Pact. Yeah, that's a Tainted Pact, and that's going to go in the CEDH deck that I have. So I did pull that. It's a $30 card, and I was looking for it. I have a couple of Professor Onyxes, and I have one in Japanese also. Here's everyone's favorite, Skittles. It's a foiled full art Skithiryx, the Blight Dragon, flying infect. If you have a way of pumping this and making him your commander or something like that, this is a great way to close out a game. And he does damage with toxic. Well, with infect. And then let's do, oh yeah, then we just go into our 40K stuff. And that's about it. So just a lot of 40K stuff and everything like that. But I just wanted to take a quick moment and say, thank you for hanging out, because, this is just chat and magic. That's all we do with this little thing that we do on Tuesdays. But we just do chat and magic. We just hang out. We talk about what's in my trade binder or what's in my 3 or 4 boxes of stuff here. Like I said, I have a lot of constructs and things like that in colorless, because I was thinking about doing a colorless deck, and now I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all this damn stuff. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. My name's Victor. This is Vibing with Victor. If you like the content, if you want to hang out again, feel free to join us on there's no stream on Thursday, but there is going to be a stream on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday and Sunday, we'll be doing a stream. We're playing through Fable again, just so you know what we're playing. But we've been playing through Fable and Fable 1, so we're working on Fable 2 right now. So we're about 10 hours into the game at the moment. But I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Victor, And it was a pleasure hanging out with you. And thanks for hanging out with me and talking about Magic and just chatting. So catch you on Saturday and have a pleasant day.